Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Ryan Goodkin. Excuse me while I set up and make sure we're going live here on Instagram. My name is Ryan Goodkin. I am the Director of Product Development at Livegood and a co-founder. And today we are going to be talking about, we're going to talk about the organic superreds, but it's going to involve a lot of other little tangents that I'm probably going to go down. I am missing my trusted partner in business and in life, Lisa. She's not with me today, but I'll do my best to make her proud. So like I said, today we are going to discuss the Livegood organic superreds. And what we're going to talk about today is how it's a new and improved version. But before I get started, I want to make sure you guys know that it is very important for both us and for you to make sure that you like and you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook as well, so you can stay up to date with all of this exciting stuff that we're bringing out at a blistering pace. We're doing things very fast, but we're having fun. We're all having a lot of fun doing it. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about this massive topic. We're going to dive in first just saying, look, it's February. It is National Heart Health Awareness Month, and it is a personal story for me, but it's very serious because it is the number one killer worldwide. Heart disease is the number one killer worldwide. 2 people die approximately every minute. And it's personal to me because my father died of cardiac arrest, coronary artery disease. He had lots of buildup of plaque, and I think he just had a massive heart attack in the middle of the night, and that was that. I mean, had some other health issues that I've talked openly about. I've tried to use it as a platform to discuss these issues with everybody because I understand they're very relatable and very common place for most people. So, and Lisa actually worked so when she graduated her master's in exercise physiology, she went into cardiac rehab. She had worked in a hospital setting, very much in a reactive state where she was helping people recover from heart attacks and strokes. And, it was always it was always a slow process. There was progress. I mean, people could make a difference. But it was always kind of sad for her, I think, though, because it was ultimately a little bit late in a sense, right? There was a lot that could have been done earlier. It never was. And that was the case with my father, too. So it's an important topic. We need to address it. And then secondly, I wanted to bring out and show you guys our updated version of our organic superreds. So we're going to dive into that today as well. And we're going to tell you about how awesome it was already an awesome product and how we even made it even better. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, let's dive in. So really what we're going to do is we're going to tackle this. Let me actually see some comments here, guys. Let me see what you're all saying. I love the fact that we can interact on this page. But we're going to talk about 3 main things today, the benefits of dietary nitrates. We're going to talk about it from a cardiovascular health perspective. We're going to talk about it from an exercise performance perspective, and we're also going to talk about it from a sexual health perspective. But don't lose sight of the fact that there are so many benefits of these dietary whole food nitrates. I mean, they got metabolic health as a huge player, vision support, skin health, brain health, immune system support is really critical, antiviral, antimicrobial, lots and lots and lots of other benefits too. So let's dive in, guys. See what we got going on here. Hello. Hi from Kentucky. A lot of flooding going on up there. I hope you guys are safe. All right. Love it. All right. Love it. All right. So let's talk about it from a cardiovascular support perspective. So heart disease, I've just told you, is very personal to me. But in the vast amount of information out there on heart disease, it really does come down to a number of really basic factors. A lot of it has to do with our metabolic health, right? A lot of it really goes back and stems from what's our body composition look like? What are we doing to take care of ourselves on a basic nutrition level? Are we getting the proper amount of exercise? Are we spending the right amount of time in restorative sleep? Are we managing our stress properly? Are we socializing? Are we enjoying life? Are we hydrating properly? Lots of different things. Are we getting proper amounts of sunlight? Are we supplementing properly? All of these factors, these are really foundational things that we need to be working on to sort of get ahead of the heart disease curve. Because heart disease is, like many of these chronic diseases, set in motion many, many, many years prior to an event. And unfortunately,
for people that experience a heart attack, their first experience with it is fatal. Many people, and that's just a sad reality of how important it is to bring awareness to this topic. So what we're going to do, let's talk about nitric oxide a little bit. Let's talk about dietary nitrates. Let's talk about the prescription drugs that are used in cardiovascular health. And then we can talk a little bit about the ingredients in the superreds. But cardiovascular support is handled a lot of times by nitrates. Nitrates are precursors to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule. It tells the blood vessels to relax, to open up, to increase blood flow. It is a gas, and it has a half-life of only a few milliseconds. It's very short-lived. But our dietary habits influence our nitric oxide production quite a bit. And it starts obviously just in the oral mouth. That's why it's important to care for the oral microbiome. It's important to care for the gut microbiome. It's important to care for all of our microbiome, to be very cognizant of that. But we also need to be careful, be aware of the foods that influence our nitric oxide production, and understanding what nitric oxide is or isn't, and ultimately paying attention to these food choices. And that's what I would say the most important thing about, say, cardiovascular health is. I mean, it's really about the foods that we put in our body, avoiding pro-inflammatory seed oils, and avoiding these deep fried, rancid foods, avoiding these highly processed foods that are just loaded in chemicals and synthetics, and avoiding like other pro-inflammatory things. You want to watch out for too much radiation. So obviously excessive sunburns or just being around radiation, too much of it. You want to watch out for, let's say, environmental toxins like cigarette smoke. So obviously cigarette smoking is a no-go. That's one that we have to address. You have to handle that. Gosh, that's a big one. So if you know a smoker, please continue to do what you can to influence them to stop smoking. Environmental exposures are big. I mean, there's a whole lot of toxins, a whole lot of things that we need to watch out for. Pesticides, of course, heavy metals, high fat intake. Got to be careful with that, especially your trans fats, and watch for some saturated fat. Insulin resistance. I say insulin resistance. That's just, that's high fasting insulin. That's the fact that you're not processing sugar. You have high blood sugar levels. You need to get testing done to identify that. But generally speaking, if you're morbidly obese or overweight, you're likely insulin resistant. So that's another area that we definitely need to watch out for. Alcohol, right? Alcohol is another major contributor to free radicals and oxidative stress. So binge drinking, excessive drinking, daily drinking, these are all things that you need to watch for. We talked about sleep, stress. So let's get into a little bit of a discussion about what exactly does it mean to be a free radical or an antioxidant? So free radicals are what they call reactive oxygen species. These are the things that your body actually normally makes these. And they're bad when they get to a certain excessive level. And once they build up in the body and they are not neutralized by antioxidants, it really starts to lead to oxidative stress. It's this pro-oxidative state that is very dangerous. That's essentially what's happening when you have these buildup of plaques in our arteries, and it gets oxidative stress, and it becomes highly inflamed, and it becomes sticky. And that's what ultimately, when one of those breaks apart and goes into the blood, leads to a heart attack or stroke. I mean, those are blood clots. That's the oxidative stress we want to avoid. But remember, this is years and years in the making. We've got to slow this process down early on. So all of those pro-inflammatory things I talked about are contributors to reactive oxygen species, free radicals. So the smoking, the environmental exposures, the pesticides, the heavy metals, all of that stuff. So, but they are created. You do get free radicals as normal part of body metabolism, just energy metabolism. You get it as part of exercise. Like if you do a strenuous workout, you'll get free radicals. So they're not all bad. If you fall and break a bone or have a bruise or slice or cut your fingers, there is some free radical generation. Your immune response, if you're getting sick, generates free radicals. So they're not all bad. It's just more of a function about homeostasis and balance. I mean, our body should not be overloaded by free radicals, because when they do, it leads to that oxidative stress. So what are you supposed to do? Well, antioxidants. So free radicals are oxidants. So therefore, antioxidants are sort of how you neutralize excessive free radicals. And what's the best way to do that? Well, a healthy diet, rich in phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are just healthy plant vitamins, minerals from plants. Well, from meat too. You can get actually quite a bit of antioxidants out of meat. People aren't really realize that. I mean, but say your cattle or your bovine is feeding on plants, and it actually can make these antioxidant compounds more bioavailable. So kind of a fun fact there. But that's the key. We have got to consume more of these phytonutrients. And, you guys have probably heard about what antioxidants are. They're vitamin C, there's zinc, there's copper, zinc, there's selenium. These are the things that you really want to focus on consuming. But the best way to do it is to get it through the colorful plants, those types of things. Eat the rainbow, as you might have heard. So that's kind of the one thing I wanted to bring up, is to make sure you guys know the difference between what I consider, say, free radicals and antioxidants. What does that mean? So antioxidants are vitamins, well, carotenoids too. So lutein and zeaxanthin. We'll talk about a little bit about those today for the vision support. Polyphenols, which is most of what you're going to find in these plant compounds. Glutathione is a master antioxidant. That's a separate molecule. That is something that's more created. The body will make it from cruciferous vegetables, sulfur-based compounds. So that's a great one, but unfortunately not very bioavailable. So be careful on the supplement side. And then zinc and copper, like I mentioned. So that's what you want to do. You want to avoid overloading the body with free radicals. And you need to introduce more antioxidants into your diet. So by doing so, you're going to feed the body with all of these beautiful nutrients, whole food-based nutrients, and it's going to help give the body what it needs to create nitric oxide. Like I said earlier, in cardiovascular disease, a lot of drugs work on this pathway. Nitroglycerin for angina, for people that have chest pain, is an organic nitrate. There's nitrates, isosorbide dinitrate. Those are blood pressure medications. There's a number of different blood pressure medications that work actually on the nitric oxide pathway because it's highly effective. And so very beneficial when you do it in a whole food-based manner. All right, let's stay. What are we talking about? Cardiovascular support. So yeah, that's the one main area I want to talk about today is cardiovascular support. I want to talk about exercise improvement. So exercise, if you're a competitive athlete, 5% is a huge number. And that's what the studies have shown that dietary nitrates can do. The International Olympic Committee, the World Anti-Doping Agency, they all permit dietary nitrates as a performance enhancing agent. So again, works on that similar pathway. You're doing vasodilation, increasing the blood flow, increasing the perfusion of oxygen, improving the delivery of nutrients and minerals and vitamins and everything to the tissues so that they can do more work. And great for exercise performance. And third, it was the sexual dysfunction category. For many men, and for women too, of course, but many men, when I hear about them struggling to either obtain an erection or sustain an erection, immediately my mind goes to blood circulation and early signs of heart disease, because that's the blood flow issue. That's kind of what you're dealing with. So the therapy Viagra, the blue pill, was originally being studied as a blood pressure medicine, and it can be beneficial for blood pressure, but they also noticed another thing, which was sustained erection. So that was then developed into what it is today, is the number one drug used to prevent or to treat erectile dysfunction. So same pathway, organic nitrates. And there's so many benefits. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm only highlighting cardiovascular, exercise performance, and sexual health, but there are so many other benefits for consuming these whole foods-based dietary nitrates. So, all right, we did a good job, I think, covering antioxidants, what those are, free radicals, how they're generated. We talked about the internal way, the natural way that they're generated. We talked about the external stresses that increase the amount of free radicals. We said the things like radiation, air pollution, smoking, chemicals, sunburns, high-fat diets, excessive alcohol, stress, poor sleep, even strenuous exercise. We said that we want to strike a balance. We want a balance. The body will naturally try to have a balance of homeostasis. But remember, years and years, and even just 50 years ago, I mean, we had way more plant compounds in our diet. More people were farming and doing small gardens at home. More people were eating organic meats, fruits, and vegetables, just by the nature, because the food development industrial process has gone so fast, so big, so quick that it's almost hard to keep up. So the whole point of that is the goal was to naturally decrease the amount of stressors and free radicals that we generate and improve our dietary state. Getting active and exercising is a great way, of course. Intermittent fasting is another good way to sort of promote autophagy, which is the cleaning up of the cell. So let me back up for one quick second and mention oxidative stress. I would think, so let's go back even a little step further. That buildup of reactive oxygen species, these free radicals, ultimately leads to a condition called oxidative stress. I would argue that oxidative stress is the beginning of the chronic disease process, because once that starts happening, that oxidative stress can damage your lipids, so that can damage your fats, it can damage your DNA, and it can damage your protein. And once that sort of happens, not to say it's irreversible, but a lot of damage can be done. That's the beginning stages of your heart disease, of your cancer, for sure on cancer, diabetes. And what ends up happening is you can end up with a lot of this trash in the cellular environment that doesn't get taken out. And that autophagy is one of the reasons why they say intermittent fasting or fasting can be so beneficial. It can help sort of promote autophagy, the self-cleaning of the cell. If that doesn't happen, they can become zombie-like cells, senescent cells. And that's the stuff that gets in the way of the metabolic process. It can alter our mitochondrial, it's called a Krebs cycle. It can alter our energy metabolism. It can affect our immune response. And these cells can linger, can hang around, and really create a lot of garbage and trash. So that's the point of intermittent fasting. It can be very beneficial to help clean up those cells. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the new and approved organic super reds. It really didn't need it didn't need improvement. Let's be honest. I mean, the super reds were fantastic the way they were. But I'm always sort of looking at it from, if given the opportunity, I'm going to jump on it. So, and that's what I did. I will tell you, I tried to keep the flavor profile the same because the reviews have been so good. I love it so much. And I'll be honest, I formulate for myself. When I'm doing this, I really try to focus on my household, my family, my partners, and we all kind of communicate that way, because I know I'm pretty open-minded to things. So we love it. You're certainly going to love it. We try to keep it about the same. You'll notice it's still got that dark red. You'll notice that it does settle, because remember, these are whole food ingredients. Okay. And there's some cereal grasses in here. So they will kind of come out of solution a little bit. And, but it's a beautiful dark red, nice similar profile of flavor. And what I'd like to do is just run down the ingredients. So what we know is we've got about 30 calories per serving, about 1 gram of sugar. And a lot of these fruits can contain sugar. So we have wheatgrass. I wanted to mention this wheatgrass thing. People ask me all the time about gluten. Don't worry about the gluten. We test for the gluten. Actually, wheatgrass, depending on when and how it's harvested, can be done and not have any gluten. So this is a gluten-free product, even though it has wheatgrass. So make sure, we do test for that, just so that you have some assurance. Let's see. Well, we did keep all the original ingredients. We kept everything. We kept the aronia. We kept the hawthorn berry. We kept the beetroot, but we actually increased the beetroot 65%, which is crazy. It's a lot of beetroot. It's great though. We had the pomegranate, the grape seed extract. We added up, and we kept the cereal grasses. We do like the grasses for the base, and the grasses are a high contributor for dietary nitrates. So those are benefit, and there's a lot of other beneficial compounds in them as well. So we added, let's go through it. So we increased the beetroot 65%. We changed the ascorbic acid to vitamin C from acerola cherry. We added Mackay berry, guys. If you've not seen this one, this is a newcomer to the superfood family. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. Lots of purported health benefits, very, very high in polyphenols and anthocyanins, which are, again, your antioxidants. They estimate about 12 times the amount in your normal berries, which is impressive for sure. We upgraded the grape seed. We put a standardized 95% anthocyanins. Cranberry. We added organic cranberry because we know it's rich in antioxidants and polyphenols, anthocyanins. They're good for urinary tract, good for digestive health, immune system, anti-inflammatory. We all know the goji berry. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the goji berry, also known as the wolfberry, high in vitamin C, beta carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin, which is the stuff we talked about a lot for vision, skin, and provides essential minerals. I mean, just an incredible compound. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Tart cherry. We added organic tart cherry. It's great because it's high in, again, anthocyanins, and it's well documented in supporting to help with joint damage because of the inflammatory process. Good for blood pressure, heart health, This goes on and on and on. And then you'll see something interesting. I've talked a lot about having these adaptogenic mushrooms in our coffee. Not everybody wants to drink coffee. So I chose to put some red reishi and some cordyceps in here. But the red reishi is a Ganoderma. And I know a lot of you are familiar with this. I mean, it's been used for centuries, both of cordyceps and a Ganoderma. So many benefits of having the mushrooms. But one thing I do want to mention, because of on that note, the browns, the greens, you will notice the colors a little bit on the browner, dark brown, red side. That's normal. And then once mixed, you'll see that it is that normal red. So, but yeah, used for centuries. The Ganoderma, this red reishi, treating everything from healing inflammation, known as as the ultimate anti-inflammatory mushroom. Cordyceps, also very rich in bioactive compounds, and improves oxidative stress and apoptosis. Apoptosis is that programmed cell death. So we just talked about cells kind of lingering, senescent cells becoming zombie cells. Apoptosis is programmed, like the cell automatically dies on its own, pre-programmed. So it promotes that. It helps for cleaning out that cell junk. A lot of unique benefits, from exercise performance to increasing ATP production, which is your energy currency. Acai berry. You guys have ever heard of acai bowls and all the benefits there? Very impressive nutrient profile and high in antioxidants. And of course, a lot of these have that blue purple color. So again, changing the color of the powder a little bit. And then the last thing we added was an organic ginseng. So much traditional herb, like such a traditional herb with so many health benefits, ranging from brain function to sexual health to heart health. So it really fit nicely in this profile. Cereal grasses, we have the barley, the wheat, alfalfa, oat, and spinach. I just talked about those. Pomegranate, I did say this once before, is that pomegranate's cool because it acts as a protector sort of nitric oxide. So it's such a volatile gas and such a short half-life that the pomegranate can actually benefit that. So, and we talked about the acerola cherry, and that's it, guys. I mean, wow. I mean, it's such an improvement on an already awesome product. I think you guys are going to love it. I can't wait to hear some feedback and how to maximize use, and then we'll wrap it up. For me, it's every single day. I don't see a reason why you would skip a day. You never should. I like to use it as a pre-workout, so before the gym, but also big fan of using it in the middle, sort of that sluggish part of the day, that early mid-afternoon slump. Because definitely, if you're drinking any sugary beverages, any sugary carbonated junk beverages, try replacing it with one of these. You can even add the amino acids, fruit punch to it. You can mix things. You can put it in your smoothie, but twice a day is fine. At least once a day, every single day for sure. So that, guys, covers our updates for today on organic super reds. Let's see it. What do we have? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can stay in touch. Hello. Hi. Hi from fellow Florida. Yeah, a lot of cardiovascular support questions for sure. I get it. I mean, it's a scary world, when you start talking about health, heart health, and if you have a family history of it, you just know that, hey, look, this is a real thing. I gotta deal with it, and you guys can absolutely do that. Look at this comment. I commented on something like this before too. I said, not only that, but 10 pull-ups, should be able to run a mile. I 100% agree. Yeah, I mean, we're just not in the shape we used to be. Hey, Ivan. Absolutely. They are very powerful. Very, very powerful. And, I was hoping maybe Ben would join me today. I don't know what happened to him, but here's the funny thing. We didn't raise the price. We did all of this and didn't even change the price. It's actually absolutely unbelievable. I was hoping Ben would be here so he could kind of talk about that. I kind of like to shy away from the money side a little bit. I'm more concerned about efficacy and the quality of the product. It makes me a little bit uneasy talking about the money. But incredible value. I mean, you're not going to find anything like it. We were already doing it better than everybody else at that price. I mean, it just makes it that much more of a no-brainer. A lot of peer-reviewed journals here. So not only just peer-reviewed, there's actually quite a few prospective double-blind controlled, randomized controlled trials that have looked at some of these. So you're not going to say what I'm not going to say. So just for all you guys out there, in America, you can't make claims on dietary supplements. But if you look, and you can go to National Institute of Health, you can go to PubMed, there are a lot of studies on the individual ingredients. And so that's kind of where I spend most of my time. I have access to those resources, and I will pull up studies. So if you want, you can email me, and I'll be happy to share lots of the studies that are out there. Here's Timothy commenting. Thank you. Yeah, I am a licensed pharmacist. I grew up I was trained in the evidence-based world, and dietary supplements were not emphasized much, actually, at all during those years of study. It was only until later, well, I guess along the same time, because I was into nutrition, but that I realized food is medicine, and you can see it firsthand. All right. Look, I mean, I get it. Absolutely. I'm more than happy to share studies with you. I get the fact that there could be some criticism around talking about whole food ingredients as medicine, but you're not going to be able to dispute the fact that many of these drugs work along the same pathway. And a lot of the studies that have demonstrated efficacy using food and dietary nitrates. Now, obviously, the pharmaceutical companies have maximized their effect through synthetic means, but yeah, I mean, that's not my preferred way of getting my nitrates. This is a good question. I do. Tina, I do. I mean, there's a few supplements I take on an empty stomach. It kind of depends on the school of thought and who you ask, whether or not you should be doing anything that has any calories at all. So, that's just up for you to decide on what works for you. Well, guys, I appreciate all this. This is great. Looks like a lot of you are concerned about the cardiovascular benefits, and I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, no, absolutely. Love the acai and the goji. And if you guys spend some time looking at the compounds, the proanthocyanins, like all of these other antioxidants, and really try to get into the science of it to where it still makes sense to you, gosh, you just go through each ingredient, you'll see the concentration of them. There is an incredible amount. Oh, last thing too, sorry. Maybe it's not the last thing, but the testing. I'm going to load the testing on the certificate of analysis up. The supplement facts panel is actually already on the website, so you can go there now and check that out. I'm going to load the certificate of analysis. I'm going to load the glyphosate testing, because remember, I always say, if you're concerned about herbicides and some of these chemicals that these companies are using, organics, anything organic from the earth, you should be testing or knowing that it's glyphosate free. So I'm going to load the glyphosate testing. I'll load the heavy metal testing. We're going to load the ORAC testing. So ORAC will tell you well, let me tell you what it stands for. I always mess up what it stands for. So it's the oxygen radical absorbance capacity. So it's a measurement of basically the antioxidant's power. So I'm going to get that loaded for you all as well. And then you all just please let me know if there's anything else that you want to see. Yeah, the mushrooms. I see some comments here on adding the mushrooms. Definitely, I think cool, a benefit. And I know a lot of you want to see the mushrooms as a standalone supplement. We'll get to that at some point, because I agree. I think it's great. Yeah, Kelly, email me about the mushroom sensitivity question. Actually, you know what? Let me throw it up here. That's fine. I have food sensitivity to mushrooms. Do you think benefits outweigh? I still use mushrooms, including algae coffee. Just wondering your taking. Yep, it certainly can be. There can be some sensitivities for some of these ingredients. That's just the nature of food. You have to experiment. You have to think. I think you'll be fine. but it's possible that it would affect you. So you let me know, and I hope it works for you. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up because the questions are just piling in and I cannot get through all of them. I hope I didn't miss anything, but just remember mixing it with anything you want. You know, you can mix it in a smoothie. You can drink it straight. I prefer it straight. But remember, guys, you got to get ahead of the oxidative stress. You got to get ahead. You got to manage. You got to know your blood pressure numbers. If you're trending in that direction, you need to know your numbers. You've got to spend some time reducing your oxidative stress, put some effort into it with your exercise, whether you start intermittent fasting, adding the colorful fruits and vegetables, eating under the rainbow, healthy, lean meats, avoiding the crappy processed foods and the rancid seed oils they're using to deep fry foods. Please stop eating those. Watch out for your environmental toxins. I know this sounds just a lot of stuff, but man, just be more aware, and you can start to make some big strides. And that is all, guys. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Go check out the new and improved organic super reds, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.